We are back on the M2 competition in today's video, and if you can see just over there, I have my carbon roof, but we won't be fitting it in today's video. So as you know, I've had to wait, well, it turned out to be 6 weeks for this carbon roof, and I have just put it in position, got it out of the box, didn't know where else to put it, so I put it on the roof, and I've just like sort of test fitted it. I've put all my 4 screws in just to make sure everything is all good, especially down this side here, and I've measured all my gaps. They're all absolutely spot on, as I knew they would be anyway, because I've obviously done all the measurements already. So look how good that looks though. I mean, it almost looks gloss black from here, which is annoying. Don't know if I can get a better look at the carbon. No, it's hard to tell really, but they're kind of, but it just looks so good, especially on a white car. Now, I do have a little bit of an issue. Now, I have contacted the supplier of the roof, but if you can see here, look, it doesn't sit flush. Now, I know it's got to be bonded on and everything, but you can see where the roof just comes up at the end, and it comes up this side as well. And carbon being carbon, it's very stiff, so I can push it down, but it's taking quite a lot of force to do that, and it's only meant to be glued on. So I'm thinking, well, is that really right? Should it not be sitting flush like that all the way along, side to side? So I have just contacted them, and I'm waiting for a reply back because they've had to go to the manufacturer. So that is why we can't actually fit the roof, annoyingly, in today's video. But we can get on with some other stuff because I've actually just chucked on some parts that I've received over the last sort of couple of weeks, and that is a front wing here, luckily in the right colour, another wing in the wrong colour this side, and also my door has been painted. So we might as well start with the door, and this is just literally a complete bare door. There is nothing in it whatsoever, so we need to transfer absolutely everything over from the old door. So yeah, we'll start by stripping down the old door.
So we're going to remove the door card first, and that's just 2 screws at the bottom and 3 screws on the door handles, and then the whole door card just pulls off with a little bit of force. Now there's this foam cover here, and that's held on with really sticky stuff, which is best described as like sticky blue tack. Now we need to remove that to get to all the gubbins. Now we're just going to remove all our wiring and then pull that out the door at a later date, because at the minute it's a bit jumbled up amongst other stuff. To remove our glass, there is just 2 screws. You have to kind of pull the window up a little bit, undo the screws at the back, and then you can pull the glass out. And then we need to remove our window regulator, which is just 4 screws. It's quite simple, that one, and just manage to wiggle it out just like that. And that gives us access to remove the rest of our wiring, which we'll do in a second. The door handles are next, which are quite simple. The door lock barrel, there's just a screw in the inside of the door, undo that, that removes the barrel, and then you can just pull the handle out, and now we have access to remove all our wiring. Pull that from the side of the door, and you can just pull it all out.
Right, so I've now removed all the wiring, everything from the door, and it took absolutely ages because I haven't stripped one of these before, so I had no idea what I was doing really. But everything is now stripped. A good hour and a half probably just to strip it. And we've got the wiring here, there's a few trims here, and all the parts up here, look. So you can just see how much there is to remove. So I'm now just going to put it on a time lapse and fit everything to this door, just because it's taken so long. And you've already seen me strip it, so yeah, hopefully it won't take too much longer. I've also got a box of stuff here, loads of other bits like the new part here, and just loads of other bits for the front end to finish that off. I don't yet have a bumper. That's the only thing I don't have, but today we should be able to get the whole front end built up and just needs a bumper plonking on. Yes, this new side's a bit of a pain in the arse, whereas this side, the brackets are on the outside. You can see it's bolted to the outside, so it's quite easy to undo the bolts. On this one, the bolts are on the inside, so I've literally had to take the whole, well, it's either take the whole radiator pack out, which is a lot of ag, because I'd have to disconnect the coolant lines again, or I have to remove the whole, basically the chassis leg, which I've done, and pull the whole thing out, so then I can gain access to these bolts. Bit of a pain in the arse, but we are getting there. Well, that's the front lower arm all back in, and you can tell this one, the other one was bent because, I don't know if you can see it, but it was rubbing on the anti-roll bar, so it was bent, what, a good sort of 12 millimeters, which was actually visible to the eye, so I'm glad I replaced that. The other thing that I've now refitted all this corner here, so that is all in position. It's been a bit of a pain in the arse, if I'm honest. I've tried 3 times now to try and get the rubber grommets, because there's always rubber grommets that sit in between intercoolers, radiators, etc., and the chassis due to the vibrations. And this one should be no different, but I've tried to contact the dealer 3 or 4 times, and every time they come back saying there is no rubber grommets. Now, and that is because I've just found out that the rubber grommets are part of the oil cooler. You can't buy them separately. So I was like, well, hang about. Rubber grommets, obviously perishable items. So when they do perish, you need to buy 3 new rubber grommets. You're telling me I have to buy a whole new oil cooler. And he was like, yep, do you want me to take that up with BMW? I said, no, don't bother, I can't be asked. So I've just gone on Amazon and ordered a rubber bung kit. So that's gonna be enough to basically sit in the holes in here. So then I can have my rubber damping between the chassis and the cooler. So yet again, I'm having to put that on hold, fixing that. Now, moving on to the wheel. So this is the one that was the near side front. This is the one that was punctured. And instead of buying, because this is what, I think it's about 6 mil. So instead of buying 2 brand new tyres, so they're both obviously the same, I managed to find a used, but exactly the same tyre, also 6 mil. Actually, I think this is nearer probably 7 mil if I'm honest. But it's an identical tyre, and it was half the price of one tyre. That was, I think, that new, something like 180 quid these days. I think I paid 90 for that, which is obviously a lot better than buying 2 new front ones. The rears are actually the wrong size, so that might be part of the reason that he flew into a field. There are 2 5.5s on this, where I think they should be 2 6.5s, and you can quite clearly see that it's a bit stretched as well. So yeah, they've got the wrong tyres on them, so that doesn't help. So 2 new tyres will be going on the back of this. So I'm not doing very well here, just trying to take the tyre off, and yeah, my TPS sensor is smashed to bits, so that's great. So I need another one of them now as well. Fantastic. So I've just refit the tyre for now. I have ordered a TPMS sensor, won't be here for a few days, but the wheels need to be refurbed anyway, so I think I'm just going to get them to fit the sensor when they take the tyre off to refurb it, which is also why I haven't bothered balancing it. This is just purely for road test purposes, and so we're not driving around with a flat tyre. Now, I forgot to mention, I didn't actually buy this additional water cooler from BMW directly. I bought it from a specialist supplier called LLL Parts. Now, I'll put a link to them in my description. They supply genuine parts to loads of German manufacturers, such as Audi, Volkswagen, Mercedes, BMW, etc. And it was just cheaper than the main dealer. So yeah, great service, and I'll put a link in my description to them. Right, so this has been a massive pain. I'm not going to lie, this has been a massive pain in the ass because it was all smashed to bits and there was just loads of parts missing.
and I'm not familiar with BMWs. It was a lot harder to try and work out what parts I had missing, what I needed to renew. So the amount of times I've been backwards and forwards to the dealer to pick up parts and then work out what other parts I need is a joke. I think we're now just left with this duct here that I just need to buy. I thought I did order it before, but I obviously didn't. Probably just got confused and mixed up with the amount of parts I'm ordering. So just waiting for that, and obviously my grommets, which will be coming. But I think we're in a position now where we can actually start putting the front end back on. So it's all down here, the cross member, the crash bar, the top part as well, just to clear up this space here and get rid of some mess basically, because this is a lot of mess. So my little grommets have turned up, perfect fit in there. I'm going to put another harder rubber grommet on the top of that as well, just to give it a little bit more extra vibration damping. I'll fit the other two as well, and then we can finally build up this bloody front end and get that oil cooler fitted properly. So I'm just going to start picking things up from the floor down here and start hoping that they fit to the front end somehow, because it's been so long. I'm not familiar with BMWs. I can't remember where most things go, so it's just kind of a put things up and hope they go in. Bet you I've got to undo all that again. I told you I'd have to undo all this again. I had these two like covers, protective covers. I had no idea where they went. Now after about 20 minutes of research online, I've managed to work out where they go, and I don't know really what they do. They don't seem to really serve a purpose in my mind, but they sit behind this bar here up against one of the radiators just behind here. So I'm gonna have to remove both of those to put them on. Cheers. And there we go, look, got them little trims in that goes behind this panel, and their job is actually to hold this scoop in place at the front here. So this massive scoop here actually clips into it there, and they actually just sit on top of the chassis, look, and just clip into the chassis. So that was the job of that, and I told you I'd have to take that back off again. Right, there we go, we are getting there. That is the front end pretty much back together, bar a front bumper. Yes, I know I've got like wheel arch liners, the wings to sort out and everything, but that's mainly paint. The wheel arch liners will be the last thing to go on. I do still have a small issue of parking wiring, look, which seems to be broken off here. I do have a little wiring loom somewhere which only has 2 sensors on, so I don't know if there's just a loom from each side that has 2 wiring sensors on. I'm not sure yet, but again, that'll be the last thing I do. So yeah, everything is back together. Managed to get all my vents in the right place. This vent went here in front of the cooler, and yeah, it's just a bit of a puzzle, but everything is now back on, and I've got the whole front end on as well, the top bit, and obviously the carbon brace is all on now. So there's one thing I want to do, and I'm sure you lot are going mad at it as well, and this engine bay is filthy. So give me 10 minutes, maybe half an hour, and let's see what we can make this look like. Looks pretty nice now. So what I'm going to do now is going to bring it on the floor, and I do need to have a look at this headlight because the DRL is not working. Now, I know some of you said it needs to be coded, but I don't think it should, because that is the original unit of the car. So as far as the car's concerned, nothing's changed, and it is already coded. Maybe because it's a new headlight, but then the modules on the headlight are the same. So I'm unsure whether it's a coding issue or not. So let's just get it down on the ground and see if I can plug the computer in and have a look. I've actually just remembered about my dodgy attempt at soldering. Now, it doesn't work. It still doesn't work. I've tried coding it, but I think I was right in saying that because it's the standard module from the old headlight anyway, there's nothing that needs coding. There doesn't seem to be anything in the headlight itself, the new headlight, that requires any coding. So I just think my DRL is just not working. So I do need to get a new module for that. So that's another thing added to the list. But now the car's on the ground, it drives, everything's fine with it, like engine-wise. There's no reason why I can't now drive. So I'm going to take it on a first little road test up and down the drive. So I mean, I've got wires hanging down everywhere, as obvious, but this is actually got a flat battery in the remote as well. Might not start. Come on. I am holding it up to the remote. Come on. First proper test drive. This is weird. Oh well. Something's loose. Right, let's have another go. I left the one of the bolts loose for the steering arm, which I forgot. It's quite smoky, but then it does have decants. Very windy. This is probably coming across terrible on camera. So that is, to be fair, that sounds pretty stock. Now let's put it valves open. Sport Plus. Oh, the difference is insane. Right, let's just go down there. Oh my god, parts everywhere. I'm losing me. Jesus. Didn't mean to be that loud.
See, from here it just looks like normal condensation. It just smells like really bad fumes. It has got decats, so I'm unsure what's normal or not. Let me know in the comments. It might just need a good drive, to be honest. Obviously, it's got a different system on it, so I don't know what crap's in that system as well. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But at the minute, it seems to be okay. Let's just give it a rev. See, look, it seems to be alright now, so I'm not 100% sure if I'm honest.
Right, so that's going to be it for today's video, guys. Although it seems like there's a lot to do, there isn't actually that much left to do. It's just all a bit of a mess because of the roof, etc. But once we've bonded the roof on, it's just a case of putting the windows in and all the roof lining back together, front bumper, fix some body panels in position, then it can go off for paint. So
we are getting there slowly. I am a little bit concerned about the smoking problem, but it might, yeah, as I say, just need a good run. So
we are going to be back on the Skoda VRS in the next video, guys. I've got my headlight brackets, control modules, etc., everything. So this should actually come to a conclusion in the next video, guys. So as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.